And good afternoon, Roger Hill with Weathering Heights, VELCO Weather Hazards Forecaster. You're looking at the big picture of North America here and the lower 48 United States, including Vermont. We have exceptionally fine weather currently right now in our lane. These are, of course, the thicknesses at 500 millibars, hectopascals. And we have an area of low pressure that's located up in parts of Quebec. This area of low pressure here that is west of the Hudson Bay is driving the next frontal boundary that's going to be pushing toward us, and it is producing some thunderstorms across parts of Minnesota. Behind it, we have much lower dew points. Out ahead of it, those dew points rise, and this very small ridge of higher pressure is basically what's controlling our current weather, which is going to be pretty fabulous over the course of the next, the rest of today, Tuesday, as well as Wednesday. The next chances for showers and thunderstorms will arrive with this system that's in Minnesota. That's going to push in here on Thursday afternoon and early evening. Currently, right now, we have also a frontal boundary that's kind of dividing things. So what's happening is this frontal boundary is choking off the moisture and the heat that might otherwise develop and push into the region. So it's taking a little bit off this particular weather system. So if you look at heat indices, you really see where it's at. And it's all basically south of this frontal boundary across the south and interior sections and whatnot. So with dew point temperatures up in our sort of lane, if you will, you can see that basically in the 50s, very comfortable. A little bit of an uptick into the 60s. Again, that's the heat and humidity that's going to be working our way on Thursday with showers and thunderstorms. Let's take a look at some of the modeling. So as usual, on the left-hand side, we have the European model. That's the ECMWF. On the right-hand side, I've chosen the Canadian model. This is the second highest skilled model that is available for global forecast systems across the world. The GFS is right behind it. But we're looking at this area of higher pressure. It's fairly weak, but it's bringing us dry conditions, so no issues for any precipitation. A little bit of cloud cover, and that's kind of dampening solar production, but overall not too bad. Great weather to work in, lower dew point temperatures, and Wednesday will also be that way as well. We're looking at generally 50s for dew point temperatures, and this ridge of higher pressure with dry project weather continuing. That's valid about 2 o'clock in the afternoon on Wednesday. We'll continue to look into Wednesday night, and then we finally see, well, this area of low pressure here is going to start to pull in and pick up. You can see different various sort of impulses producing some showers and thunderstorms, both on the Canadian as well as the European. Running the model, that's going to be making it in here. This is valid about 2 o'clock during the afternoon hours on Thursday. Same kind of deal with the Canadian model showing southern Vermont seeing that first, and then it basically overspreads all of our region. Also increased humidity. And this is our weather system here that's going to be affected. This is valid now at about 11 o'clock. So through 11 o'clock, there might be some leftover showers and thunderstorms, but most of that will be having moved out of the region probably by around 7 o'clock or so. Now, beyond that point, we dry on out. It does look like there's a secondary weather system that's going to try to move on through. As I showed you, there was an upper level low. That upper level low has a cold pull aloft, so there's a lot of instability that likes to develop basically in the afternoon. And this is kind of part and parcel what moves through on Friday. So another round of showers and thunderstorms is expected, probably more widely scattered. Wind fields don't look to be quite as strong as what we'll see on Thursday, but still strong enough that there could be an isolated cell that might be in the vicinity of getting maybe 40, 45 knots or 45 miles per hour wind gusts. So something we'll have to watch on Friday. That's valid 0Z Saturday. That's about 8 o'clock in the evening. We're looking at conditions drying on out, and then another little flare up during the afternoon on Saturday. The Canadian model is not in agreement on that, and so this is a little bit more shaky, but this is the European after all, so we'll have to kind of include that. So maybe some isolated thunderstorm cells mixed in with a few rain showers, but probably few and far between. Dew point temperatures will be relatively low, not a tremendous amount of moisture to work with, but a little bit colder air aloft. That'll probably open the door for some sunshine. Now, once we get into basically Saturday night and Sunday, we have a nice area of higher pressure. This is going to be just a little bit beyond the period during the day, Sunday, and then as we get into 06Z, that's 2 o'clock in the morning, early morning hours on Monday. You still see we have really exceptionally dry weather. Both of the models are showing that. And then continuing, it doesn't look like somewhere along about Tuesday of next week, we'll get into a little bit more in the way of shower and thunderstorm activity. Doesn't look to be too strong. Now, I'm also noticing that this kind of a weather pattern here finally looks like high summer, whereas things are kind of continuing to be a little bit more active. So if I were to run this and go back to the start, you can kind of see this is a fairly busy weather pattern with these cutoff lows. But as we get later and later into the week, comparing notes, things start to become less active. And looking at the GFS ensemble centered on the grid at Montpelier, this is 3-hourly QPF. And over the 3 hours, when is the most precipitation going to fall? And this is our metrics here, but don't worry about what this says. Just notice that this is basically targeting once we get into the 28th and into the day on Thursday. That's when it's expected to see those showers and thunderstorms. And then a little bit of a fall off, a lull, and then the next day, Friday, a secondary system moves on through. Then we dry out, it looks like, and a pretty good model agreement there. And then beyond that point, we'll finally see something along about Tuesday of next week. This is how a total QPF looks like, which is not looking at a tremendous amount of rainfall here. We're talking about 4/10, 6/10, so pretty much centerlining about a ½ an inch total for this entire weather period. Beyond that, let's look at CAPES, convective available potential energy, and you can see what is a big day. Well, it's basically Thursday, slightly bigger, not as big on Friday, but still something there to show. And then laying CAPE with, overlaying that with shear, which is a really good indicator. Well, we're talking about 40 knots on that particular day. And then on Friday, somewhere around 45 knots, but coming down quickly. This is days 1 through 7 total QPF, 168 hours down the road apiece. You notice that there's kind of a corridor here that's relatively dry. Lots of precipitation or relatively decent precipitation to the north, and certainly a big time stalled frontal boundary. This is where all the heavy rains are going to be. And also notice it comes up from Mexico. So some sort of infeed, if you will, from the Pacific as well as the Gulf of Mexico. Texas is kind of not involved in that, but boy oh boy, anywhere from basically Colorado east into the middle Atlantic states, that's where the main action is going to be for some time to come. For us here in the Northeast, including northern New England and Vermont, it looks like around 2,500 to about a ½ inch total. What about temperature? We're looking at temperatures right now currently just anomalously cool. And of course, it's pushed off the warmer than normal conditions off the coast. Things are starting to regenerate much warmer conditions across the western part of Canada. And a good portion of Canada right now, and basically north of that stalled frontal boundary, is anomalously cool. So for the Northeast United States, that means pretty much neutral conditions for us. It'll warm up slightly. This is the next 5 days of meteorological output statistics. And then about 3 days later here, 3 to 7 days out, well, look at there. We're warming things up, so weighted temperatures are going to go up. And looking at the tropical cyclone activity, this is the European ensemble. A very, very good one to look at here, brought to us by Weather Nerds. Please credit them. We're not looking at a whole lot of tropical cyclones. In fact, if anything, that stalled frontal boundary with its waves of low pressure will roll off of it, and there could be some, not tropical cyclones, but at least some areas of low pressure working north of the Bermuda and Azores High. And the tropics are quiet. That's it from here. Roger Hill, Wuthering Heights. Thanks for watching.